I am back from holidays. The one thing you always forget about is how when you come back, you got to do a ton of laundry. So laundry's in, and things are being put back into place. And going through everything that has happened involving the Ontario Hockey League over the last week, and it's been a wild week. So this video is kind of a way of recapping the news events from the last 7 days, and we'll put it together in this one video as training camp gets underway tomorrow for most teams around the Ontario Hockey League. I know some teams have already started their off-ice training and some on-ice, like the Erie Otters. They're right now in full swing. So let's get into the news items. The big story that happened this past week involves the Kitchener Rangers, as Adam Valentini has announced that he will not be playing with the Kitchener Rangers. This one coming as a big surprise after just the big press conference and everything that was made of Valentini deciding to join the Kitchener Rangers after playing with the Chicago Steel last season. He's been playing with Team Canada at the Hlinka Gretzky tournament, has done an amazing job with Team Canada, and there's been a lot of hype and excitement around the Rangers going into the 2025-26 season. But now Valentini has decided, no, he's going to go to the University of Michigan a year earlier. So kind of a gut punch for fans of the Rangers and junior hockey fans in general, as there's been, this sense of excitement with the Rangers going into this season, especially with them putting in a bid for the 2027 Memorial Cup. And now Valentini will not be playing for the Rangers. So this just goes to show how there's a lot of uncertainty still when it comes to junior hockey right now with the whole NCAA situation. Players can still make commitments and decommitments and such. So yeah, I think we're still going to be seeing the Wild West approach when it comes to players signing agreements and whatnot. And Valentini, the latest example. So remember, he was drafted by the Brampton Steelheads in the first round of the 2024 OHL priority selection. And then the Rangers acquired his rights a year ago, just before the vote was even announced that CHL players would be allowed to join the NCAA after their CHL time. And right now, there's just still so many uncertainties. We don't know if some of those players will decide to come back to the OHL next year, or even during this upcoming season, especially if maybe they're not getting the ice time that they were hoping for or promised. So there's a lot of balls in the air right now when it comes to these teams juggling their prospects and whatnot. And the Kitchener Rangers, just the latest victim of all this uncertainty. Although the draft picks that went to Brampton as a result of the original signing earlier this summer now go back to the Rangers. So I think Kitchener still has a pretty solid group despite Valentini leaving, but it's just amazing what this team did with the press conference and everything that Valentini said about how it was a dream come true to play for a team like the Rangers. And then just before training camp begins, decides to bail and go to the University of Michigan. Obviously, there's some money involved. These players have been promised some nil when it comes to agreeing to play for these teams, but we don't know those specifics as to how much is being offered. But you have to wonder, is that a factor as to why Valentini has decided to go to the University of Michigan sooner than expected? Continuing with some signings, Brady Martin of the Soo Greyhounds has signed his entry-level contract with the Nashville Predators. For Martin, it was kind of funny at the NHL draft. He wasn't in attendance as he was on the family farm in Elmira during the draft, so he had to help out with stuff on the farm. And despite that, still selected 5th overall. And this gives some reassurance to fans of the Soo Greyhounds that they will see Brady Martin in the red and white this upcoming season. Unless he makes the Nashville Predators, I have my doubts that he sticks around with Nashville this upcoming season. We should expect to see Brady Martin suiting up for the Greyhounds. And it's exciting. And I think for a lot of junior hockey fans, really hoping that their top prospects sign entry-level contracts with the NHL clubs that select them, and Brady Martin being the latest example of that. Now, there was another move that was announced just the other day. This one's kind of fun if you grew up watching the National Hockey League in the 1990s. Miroslav Satan Jr., his playing rights have been acquired by the Saginaw Spirit. It was through league entry waivers, and the Spirit announcing on social media that they have acquired Satan Jr., who is a prospect of the Washington Capitals. He was selected in the 7th round in the 2024 NHL entry draft. So Satan playing with the Sioux Falls Stampede and Omaha Lancers of the USHL last season. 45 games played last year, and he recorded 3 goals and an assist. Now, he didn't get a lot of ice time with those two teams, but he's 6'7", and he plays center. So hopefully he signs a commitment to play with the Saginaw Spirit. So then we can have Satan in the Ontario Hockey League next year, or this upcoming year. I got to get used to saying. And then, of course, remember, the Owen Sound Attack signed a commitment with Sikora. So Nicholas Sikora, the son of Peter Sikora. So some former NHLers, their children now making their way to play in the Junior Hockey League. So at this point, there hasn't been an official signing of Miroslav Satan Jr. with the Saginaw Spirit, but all signs point to maybe we'll see him playing for the Spirit this upcoming season. There have also been a couple of trades this week, the first one being between the Guelph Storm and the Brampton Steelheads. Justin Bottineau has been traded to the Steelheads for Brampton's 12th round selection in 2028. Now, Brampton has been decimated with players leaving this organization. So Bottineau, he was acquired at the OHL trade deadline from Kitchener this past season. So he only appeared in 17 games with the Storm, but he still put up 3 goals during that stretch. 6 penalty minutes, a -12. So he wasn't that noticeable on the score sheet with the Guelph Storm after he was acquired from Kitchener. Although I know with the Rangers, he was a bit of a fan favorite. There were some fans with Kitchener who were sad to see him go to Guelph. But he will get some extra ice time playing with this Brampton Steelheads team that is kind of looking to the future. They're going to need some depth to get the offense going this season. But Justin Bottineau joining the Brampton Steelheads. And the other trade that was announced between the Brantford Bulldogs and the Barrie Colts. The Bulldogs have traded Calvin Crombie to Barrie for their 10th round selection in 2027. Now, Crombie, he's an overage player going into this season, so 2005 born. He always stood out to me every time the Barrie Colts played the Brantford Bulldogs. He's got that sandpaper style, 89 penalty minutes last year. So he does take the penalty minutes, but he's kind of that aggressor and can kind of get a team moving in the right direction. I think the fans in Barrie are going to love him. This is now the second overager that the Barrie Colts have acquired going into this season. Remember, they also picked up Alex Asadorian from the Niagara Ice Dogs in the Grayson Tiller trade. So Crombie, he doesn't put up the offensive stats, 6 goals, 25 assists, 31 points last season, but you will notice him with the physical play out on the ice. And Brantford, they've been adding so many pieces. I'm about to do their OHL season preview video, so expect that tomorrow. But Brantford is in a very good spot, and it's good to see that Crombie may get a place to play in the Ontario Hockey League with the Barrie Colts, who are expected to be one of the challengers in the Central Division. Now, with the overage situation for the Barrie Colts, so as I mentioned, Asadorian and Crombie, will they be the 2 of the 3? And then who joins him? You got to wonder, does Brad Gardner come back as an OA? Michael Durbridge, another possibility, although with Crombie coming in, he plays a similar role as to Durbridge, although he has more offensive capabilities than what we've seen from Michael Durbridge over these last few seasons. Or does the unlikely happen? Bo Akey or Tristan Bertucci come back on the blue line, or do the Barrie Colts look for another OA player, maybe on the blue line? But time will tell. So Crombie looking to be one of the 3 overagers this season for the Barrie Colts. Now, sticking with the Bulldogs, they also announced that Jake O'Brien will be the 9th captain in franchise history. That does date back to their time with the Hamilton Bulldogs. So O'Brien, I think, is a great candidate. He is the youngest captain in Bulldogs franchise history. So it's going to be great to see what he's able to do. He was recently signed by his NHL club. So it's been an exciting summer for O'Brien. And with the Bulldogs looking to be a contender this year in the Ontario Hockey League, I think all eyes will be on the Madhouse on Market just to see what the Brantford Bulldogs can do this upcoming season. So those are some of the bigger news stories that happened while I was away on holidays. Just wanted to catch everybody up here. And also to note, Wednesday, we're going to have an announcement here for the channel, which I think Barrie Colt fans may be interested in. So stay tuned for that. So if you haven't clicked subscribe already, make sure you hit subscribe so you can be informed as to what's coming up next here on the channel. And again, that announcement coming on Wednesday. So again, thank you very much for your support, and we'll talk to you again soon.